Led for service.
Well, he's had a lot of success at the net. He doesn't serve and volley too often, only once in the tournament, but he's been about 90% when he's come in to the net through this tournament. Nobody boasts a better percentage than that than Ferrer.
He's obviously very selective and coming in with a big advantage when he does. Because if you put together a list of the best volleyers in the sport, he would never make it. But you can look pretty good on the stat sheet if you're smart about when you come in. First point was evidence of that. So Bruce, Todd talked about necessary aggression for Ferrer if he wants to really push the world's #1, and agreed on a level playing field, everyone healthy. That's 100% accurate. But if I'm Ferrer today, I'm probably coming out assuming that that's a very low percentage for me to win anyway. I know Rafa was a little bit under the weather early on. I would want to make this as physical as possible. I would want to try and keep Rafa out here as long as possible.
Well, they've had a 22-shot rally, so he's moving towards it early.
I mean, it is his nature to play that kind of point like that. He's not a puncher. He's a grinder. And if this becomes a punching contest, Rafa wins that one.
Jim just saw how far back in the court he ended up, didn't he, at the end of that rally?
Yeah. And there's 3 other guys who are probably hoping that Ferrer makes this a grinding contest as well, no matter what the result, just to... Don't you think?
I agree. And the interesting thing is that Nadal's coming here with a problem, but he's got away with 4 matches where he hasn't had long matches. I mean, if he'd had a 5-set early, which it could have happened easily, then he may have really been struggling by now. So he's been able to get through those 4 matches physically pretty well on the court, but it's been the other virus that he's carried from the Middle East that's been a bit of a problem. So, for sure. So a long opening game, but he held to 15. One love, Ferrer.
Ну, все-таки во многом помог ему Надаль. Любопытно, что сразу 2 четвертьфинала на этом турнире оказались дерби.
There's the backhand for Ferrer. 5 points, took 4 minutes in the opening game.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. He has a great two-hander, good feet. Got a little separation in his hands there. You see a little bit like a hockey shot. I don't know if you follow hockey much down here, but normally players' hands are right up against each other on the grip. He has a little separation there. Gets a lot of work from his left hand. Helps him direct that beautiful backhand. Got a lot of hockey down here? Probably not much.
We call it ice hockey. We follow it a bit.
Well, yeah.
Stanley Cup and all that.
Right.
We have field hockey down here.
Oh, right.
And we're good at it, Jim. We win gold medals at the Olympics in those sports.
You see both of these guys in perspiration mode early on. And the good hooking forehand there from Rafa. He's going to have to get that shot cranked up. That's the one he likes to do some damage with.
You've talked a fair bit, Jim, about how Nadal can get some height off court. Ferrer must be the smallest of the really good players, isn't he? He's at 5'9" in the old.
Puts a lot of pressure on his footwork because he has to be so fast to the ball on the backhand side when Rafa starts whizzing it and getting it bouncing high. Otherwise, it gets way too far over his head and out of the pocket. It's the guys that have bothered Rafa in the big moments lately, the Del Potros, the Soderling, guys like that, they're able, Murray here last year, they're tall. They have great two-handed backhands. They can handle that forehand. This guy has to work harder to get in that same position because he has to meet the ball earlier.
Fault.
But Ferrer's all about the work anyway.
Court position is going to be important.
Yeah.
He was able to get forward there,
That's right. Todd, is that the kind of attacking tennis you like to see from Ferrer?
Well, exactly. I think the one thing that you won't want to watch a fair bit is he's actually airborne so often when he hits the ball, particularly on the backhand. You're talking about his size and height. His feet are not on the ground all that often, and yeah, eventually that wears down because you can't drive as much power as you need to, but so far so good for him. But that will wear you down physically.
Well, remember what Roger Rashid said about Hewitt against Nadal. He had to stand on his toes so often he had got sore calves at the end of the first set.
That's right. Well, he's 5'9", but with his racket, he actually picks up 2 inches. He has an extra 2 inches on the length of that racket from standard. So instead of 27 inches in length, it's 29. That gives him a little bit more lever on that shot, forehand there, and it just makes him cover the court that much better. Got to take every advantage you can. It's within the rules. That's the maximum. I think if they let him have 4 inches, he'd take that too. But Rafa could do that as well. It's the same for everyone.
(40-13).
89% at the net before tonight.
Yeah, that was a gimme volley too there. Just technique broke down. Needed the Todd Woodbridge volley there.
Deuce.
Well, one love deuce, 10 minutes in. The grinding has begun.
Yeah, just well, Murray said to you, I think it'll be long, didn't he, today? He said, I think it'll be a long match.
Advantage Nadal.
Well, to play a quick match against Ferrer, you need the kind of tactics that his last opponent, qualifier from Canada, Milos Raonic, brought to the table, which is his ready, fire, aim tennis. See ball, hit ball for the line. Because Ferrer, you know, is going to grind, and so is Rafa.
Let for service.
So Ferrer plays 152 in the world in the 4th round and 1 in the world in the next round, the quarter. That's what Grand Slam tennis does, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Well, that'll get him up. Not so sure drop shots the play against Ferrer, even when you have him that out of position. He's so quick. And Rafa tried to hit the backhand lob over his head and just didn't get enough of it.
Advantage Nadal.
Gee, at this rate, we might be in the fireworks at the end of the first set.
That's it. Every point so hard earned. I mean, you get a surprise when Ferrer makes a mistake.
Deuce.
Well, the world number 1 will be unhappy with these volleys here. It was a great swinging serve, opened the court up. And this volley should have been shorter in the court and a winner. And instead, he just kind of hit it in no man's land. That was a really easy pass for Ferrer. So that's a pretty rare, odd volley from Rafa.
Advantage Ferrer.
He's pushing, isn't he? He's matching Nadal, certainly. The strike of the ball, a heavy ball at the moment. I just feel like Rafa's got the heavier ball. Another chance.
Ferrer is challenging the call on the right baseline. The ball was called out.
Now, quick overrule by Eva Azaraki, the chair umpire. And Rafa was in challenge mode as well. He was right on top of this one. And there it is. The Rolex review shows that one out.
Deuce. Ferrer has 2 challenges remaining.
Boy, he went after it. He'll have to feel good about this opening return game, Ferrer, for sure.
Well, he hasn't had many quick points, has he, Nadal, on serve, but at the 1-2 there. Open the court up. That return in the previous point was outstanding. Nadal to get it back was just brilliant.
Yep, and he's so quick to get around that ball and open up that forehand. He ended up in the doubles alley, Rafa, at the finish of that shot. Well, it didn't take long for them to get in gear. This is very high-quality tennis right on the bluffs.
Jim and Bruce, I mean, we're out here for, what, 16 minutes already for less than 2 games. And I got off the court playing a Legends match. So Woody's playing Elting and Haarhus about 7 o'clock. The conditions today are really heavy. The balls are not getting much bounce on them. They're particularly from the end. Rafa's is up right now. He's not getting the usual spin and getting it up above shoulder height as much as what he would like. And it's very noticeable and only get less and, or maybe worse as the night gets cooler.
I'm tired. I mean, watching these guys exert themselves.
Rafa's dad, Sebastian.
Advantage Nadal.
He's leaning already. I think he knows he's there for a bit. So, Todd, almost the best night to play Rafa conditions-wise, do you think, for Ferrer?
Yeah, absolutely, Bruce. I think this is a great opportunity for David Ferrer because he's not being hurt as much as you normally would expect him to be because Rafa's ball's not jumping out as wide. So if he's got a chance tonight, it's being helped by the conditions.
Well, to Todd's point, normally the Nadal forehand bites you. It has so much spin, so much work on it. You have to fight it off. Ferrer is up top and early on that. A little man putting a beat down on that. Backhand winners favoring Ferrer so far. And I wonder how long it's going to take for Nadal to have a shirt change. It was 5 games against Tomic the other night. Could be 3 games the way this is going.
Advantage Nadal.
You'd take all of those, wouldn't you? An unreturnable first serve. Well, this game has been going for 14 minutes. We talked about the first game, 4 minutes, 5 points.
Ferrer's just had the 1 break point chance, but he's been great at saving add-in for Rafa. Getting back to deuce. Normally, you think the lefty's going to win more points in the ad court with that swinging serve, but Rafa is really winning the deuce points and can't get an ad one for his life right now.
He's had 18 serves so far, Nadal.
I'll tell you what, this would be I'd be very frustrated if I was a patron and I just missed the first ball and I've been standing for 15 minutes waiting to get to my seat, and there's another game to go after this.
Yeah.
Advances Nadal.
It's like water torture, isn't it? It's more fun watching, I've got to say, but it's... Do you think some restaurant bookings are being rearranged around Melbourne right now?
Just pushed mine back. Geez, what a tug of war here. Hey, Uncle Tony's just shaking his head.
Juice.
This is normally these are the kinds of matches that Rafa kind of likes in a certain way, kind of a twisted way, because he likes to take guys' legs away from them. But it's tough to take away Ferrer's legs. That's what he does best.
Well, so another opportunity. Jim, he's only played one other Spaniard here, Rafa, at the Australian Open. Fernando Verdasco went for 5 hours, 14 minutes at semi-final. It's the longest match in Australian Open history, time-wise.
And one of the best.
It was unbelievable. But anyway, I was just thinking of the clock. They like to get out there for a while. They eat late too, don't they?
Yeah, they love the nightlife, Spaniards. They're just waking up right now.
Break point.
Probably just had lunch.
Got him. It took a while, but got him.
Wow. Well, they're going to get what they want, aren't they? 23 minutes for 2 games. Look at that. It's the longest game that I've seen in this tournament.
Extraordinary. The standard, the high quality of ball striking. Todd, it's just the best start possible, really, isn't it?
Well, it is. I guess it's somewhat surprising too, but I'm telling you, the conditions do not suit Rafa one bit here tonight. The balls are thick, they are heavy, and he's just not getting as much on it as we've seen throughout this tournament. There's one other thing to look for in this match too, because we've only had one change of ends. This court slopes heavily from the northern end to the southern end down to the end that Rafa is on. It's got, and there is a breeze in here tonight, and David Ferrer's up the best end for him right now. When we see him switch, you'll see him go another metre or two behind the baseline, and Rafa may be able to start moving him a bit more.
A couple of points against the serve in a hurry. Everything's in a hurry relative to what happened in the previous game.
After that first game, Rafa looked up to the chair umpire and I believe asked for the trainer. So he may be administered here on the change of ends. Oh, that's a curious serve and volley at love 30. He's not known for that. He hasn't done a lot of it in this tournament.
Once in the 4 games coming in, serve and volley.
Out of 4 matches, just 1 time. Well, this is probably not the guy you want to do it against either for your second one. So Rafa right back with 3 break points.
What about Nadal's ability to change things up? Todd said that tonight maybe there's a trainer. Maybe that will be the big story for the next couple of minutes, but maybe it's not the night that he would want weather-wise, conditions-wise. Oh, superb. What about that movement? Gets the break back.
2 гейма по 3 минуты мы увидели, 1, который продолжался 20. Как же там настрадались зрители-то. Я напомню, что до 3-го гейма, до окончания 3-го гейма, заходить на корты, если вы не успели к началу матча, нельзя. Так, о чем здесь разговор? Точно не о погоде, как накануне было у Джоковича с Бердахом, когда все думали, закроется крыша, не закроется крыша. Ну, может быть, все-таки что-то со здоровьем, да. Надо Рафи покинуть на мгновение Рот Левер-арену. 2-1 впереди Давид Феррер. 11-3 личный счет их. И последний раз в 2007 году одерживал победу Давид над своим соотечественником. Так, ну а что нам повторяют? Не демонстрацию или каких-то проблем Надаля, не знаю, потянул что-то. Ну, так начал бежать, так набычился, словно действительно что-то как раз в этот момент и заболел. Но мяч он достал, сыграл красиво и сморщился. Так он может сморщиться по любому поводу. В прошлом году трижды встречались в Майами. На харде Надаль выиграл 7-6, 6-4. Затем в Монте-Карло в полуфинале, кстати, играли 6-2, 6-3. И в финале в Риме, один из лучших турниров Давида в прошлом сезоне. Но там, тем не менее, Надаль одержал победу 7-5, 6-2. Первый сет, как видите, был упорным. Да, так покачивая головой и демонстрируя болезненное ощущение, Надаль отправился на скамейку. Сейчас его на корте нет. Я напомню, что ровно год назад Надаль австралийский чемпионат не завершил. Тогда в полуфинале он бился на равных в очень красивом поединке с Энди Мари. Проиграл тайбрейк, а затем начал проигрывать второй сет уже без шансов. Ну и тут уже понял, что сил бороться с британцем у него нет, и от продолжения отказался. С тех пор, вот с того самого матча на Рот Левер-арене, на турнирах Большого шлема Надаль только побеждает. В том числе он взял на реванш у Энди Мари на Уимблдоне в полуфинале.
So, Jim, this is a short time ago. The trainer, Rafa, takes a tablet. So let's go. So they're going to leave the court. And Rafa looks over to his box. A little shake of the head there. That's interesting.
Well, it was a great shot, but the response he gave when he walked off the court was a very odd one. And he's back on serve here. There's a little room just off the tunnel entrance there where he can be administered by the tour trainer. And that's where they are right now. But it was curious, the look that he gave to Uncle Tony and the group up there. That was the one that's worrisome. Because nothing that we've seen so far indicates he has a problem. It's moving well. It's been a grind so far. We know that. But, you know, Rafa is not back on court. Ferrer is just tired of sitting in his chair. He likes to get out there. He's going to try and stay warm, Ferrer, but he's going to wait a while, it would seem, for Rafa. Chair umpire has her walkie-talkie on, so she's listening to hear what the update will be. And there's Uncle Tony, who sits and waits like the rest of us, trying to figure out what's going on. But the look that Rafa gave to Uncle Tony as he was leaving the court was a strange one.
I think we're about to see it, Jim. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen,
How do you interpret
Nadal
that?
is now receiving a
No
medical
bueno.
timeout.
I mean, it's impossible to really know exactly what that means. So she just called medical timeout, Ava did. So that means that they figured out what the problem is. It's been determined. Now they'll treat it. They have a 3-minute treatment window. And then Rafa will get ready to go, and he'll come right back in. That's the doctor for the tournament with the mustache. So there's a doctor involved as well.
Tournament referee and tournament director there, Wayne McEwen and Craig Tiley. So look, Ferrer waits, we wait, and we'll have more when we come back. So David Ferrer sits down again. He was up and looking at his coach Javier Pelez a moment ago. There's Sebastian, the father of Rafa, Uncle Tony's brother. When's the last time you saw Rafa here at the court? We did the Murray match, which finished at about 10-6. Have you seen Rafa since then?
I was in the locker room up till about 10 minutes before match time. Rafa has been in there an hour before that. He was getting his feet taped up. He was talking to Uncle Tony about the match. Ferrer was in there. Everything was operating very normally. No indication that anything was wrong, that he had any stomach issues or any ailments. Just the regular routine going on for both of these players. Murray and Rafa were chatting away in there. Murray was on the training table recovering from his match, getting treatment, and yeah, everyone was in good spirits, high energy, and, you know, excitement about tonight's match. So this is definitely a strange twist, Bruce.
Uncle Tony. Now, tomorrow night, Jim, we're going to be joined by Pat Rafter tomorrow night in commentary. So two Davis Cup captains, the two new Davis Cup captains, United States and for Australia together. Looking forward to that. Novak Djokovic and Roger Federer. I reckon Andy Murray, Novak and Roger would be thinking, gee, what's going on right now?
Well, if they're at dinner right now, if any of them happen to be at dinner, their phones are blowing up with text messages right now. There's no question about that. They will be finely tuned to what's going in, even if they're not here. So here comes Rafa. A look of concern on his face.
Todd, you got any theories?
No, I've just been sitting over here talking to Brad Gilbert, and we were discussing whether we saw anything or not. Brad reckoned that when he lost his serve, he looked over, and I'm looking at him right now, and he's shaking his head, and I'm trying to interpret for you, but my Spanish is not so good, but the facial language was not particularly strong, I've got to say. Didn't look good.
No. Well, what a dramatic opening to this match. But a match that's taken a huge twist in the last couple of minutes.
Love 15.
And Jim, not just a match, but his recuperative powers are enormous, but sports history might have taken a turn.
It's just, this would be devastating for the tournament if he were not able to complete this match and to complete the task that he's going for now, one way or the other. If he was physically hampered, this would just be devastating. That first serve,
15
Bruce, was
all.
172K. That's about 30K off of what we've been seeing from him. Here's Rafa chatting up into his corner, and the look he's giving, talking to Uncle Tony. How would you interpret that? That doesn't look good to me.
I'm in trouble. I'm not sure how long I can last, but I'm going to give it a go, but I'm in trouble.
This is not the guy you want on the other side of the net.
No.
Well, 174K on that serve. We're short of power at this stage
15-30.
in the Nadal camp.
Well, Jim and Bruce, I think from my perspective here, it's not in the moving department, but it's getting up at serve. So it looks like driving through the legs, getting full extension is not a comfortable experience for him.
Well, that serve was 155. Now, we know the sport's never had a better competitor, but question mark here is, whatever he's got, can he work through it in any way, shape or form? That's the key.
We just don't know what he's dealing with. Impossible to answer that one at this stage, Bruce, but it's a fatigued look after this point, too. He walks slowly to his towel. Now, that could just be frustration that something's going wrong, that physically is preventing power on serve. Maybe the virus is rearing its ugly head.
Ferrer.
Well, that can't help. And that doesn't help. And he hasn't held serve. But
Ferrer leads 3 games to 1.
He's looking straight at Uncle Tony right there, and I'm telling you that there's fear in his eyes that you just don't see. And
it's almost like a boxer looking to his man to throw a towel in the ring, isn't it?
he's just glum out there. And this is hard to watch right now. I'm just hoping that he can get a power surge here, Bruce. Something.
15 love.
Because if I had to lay money right now on whether he's going to finish this match, I'm laying it off and saying he's not.
Let her service.
Look at him standing there with his hands on his hips. I mean, there's just so odd.
So he's won 1 point since he's come back, Jim. And for Ferrer, he just wants to put as big a space between him and Rafa on the board as quickly as possible, doesn't he?
I mean, Ferrer, it's just rewind and repeat. Long points, grind, grind, grind. Nothing different than he does every day. No need to serve and volley. Extend the points if you're Ferrer. You're looking for a knockout at this point. And that's, his mind is elsewhere. He doesn't miss hit shots like that. This is tough to watch. And this is another example of why it's It's been, what, 42 years since someone's been able to win 4 majors in the men's game on the trot. There's more than just the tennis.
That's better. Would, being so close, being a Spaniard, would Ferrer have a better understanding of what's going on with Nadal, do you think, than maybe an opponent from another country?
Well, these guys practice a lot together, so if anyone's going to see anything different in Rafa's game, it's going to be a fellow Spaniard and someone like Ferrer, who he's close with.
I was thinking almost before the game as well, whether there was a problem. He's held serve anyway, and it's out to 4-1, but there's a bigger story, isn't there, than the scoreboard right now.
Ferrer leads 4 games to 1.
Yep, comes the trainer again.
So I heard Clay, who's the ATP trainer, ask Rafa, you know, well, you see he's wrapped now. Okay, there's a leg issue. He is wrapped on his left quadricep and hamstring, so that is different. That is new. He was not wrapped prior to the match that I saw.
Time.
And I heard Clay ask him, how is it? Is it better or is it worse? He said it's not worse. And Clay asked him, do you want to go stretch it? We can go off court. Would you like to stretch it? And obviously they didn't do that. So now we know we have a physical issue that is that's muscular. So it's not the virus, but it's still not ideal, is it?
No.
You need your wheels. You see him stretching, looks like the hamstring there.
See, that shot when they were so close was like a prize fighter with his trainer in his ear.
Yeah. Boy, a hamstring issue, if that's what it is, indeed, is, well, that would explain a lot. They don't tend to get better in matches of this style. So
some frustration for Ferrer, but he had to dig deep there. Nadal, look at that. So on Australia Day, we're well represented in the mixed doubles after this match tonight. Jimmy's only ever not completed one Grand Slam match, Rafa, and that was here in the quarterfinals. Same stage against Andy Murray, the knee problem last year. So, and he's won all the majors since then to get him to this point.
A little more power on that serve at 192. Look, we know that left leg is wrapped. It could be wrapped a little higher as well. It could be a groin problem. We won't really know until Rafa talks after the match, but you can just see there the loss of speed on the serve And the average dropping nearly 40K.
Mm. Todd?
Well, the other thing is every time I see Rafa trying to get a bit more penetration on the ball, he's trying to flatten it out. It just falls off his racket, and we've seen him net a lot of shots tonight. That's a little abnormal for his style of game. He's trying to get a bit more speed on it, and it's not really happening for him.
Just saw Rafa's physio head out, probably to the locker room, I would think.
Please.
But he can't come onto the court. Only the tour trainer can administer Rafa.
Hey, Nadal.
So he holds service for the first time in the match.
Ferrer leads 4-2.
Do you feel, Jim, if anyone can work through this, he's the bloke, but it is an enormous task in front of him.
It's such a bigger picture story now, though, because this is the quarterfinals. You might be able to work through this, but and he has the wrong draw. He doesn't have that advantage of a potential 2-day break after the semis.
That hasn't been a good shot for David tonight.
Love 15.
No, you're right. They play Friday night, don't they? Whereas the Federer half with Djokovic play tomorrow night and get the extra day's break. So if he can get through, the next problem is, can he go on?
15-all.
Well, I saw the closest thing I've seen to a sports miracle a few years back when he recovered in 48 hours after that 5-hour, 15-minute semifinal with Verdasco and managed another 5-set win over Federer. So
15-15.
I would have more belief in recovery in Rafa than just about anyone on the planet.
Yep.
But that was fatigue. This appears to be an injury.
David's just missing for the moment.
Well, obviously we're focusing on Rafa here, but if we turn our attention to David, I think he may be a little distracted right now as well, like all of us are, with what's going on with the man in the red shirt. And he's attacking, but he's shortening the points, which is not the right tactic. He should want to spread Rafa as wide as possible. He should want to move Rafa from the forehand to the backhand, back to the forehand. It's cruel, yes, but sport is sport. That's what he wants Rafa to do. I mean, that is so painful, I would imagine, for Rafa trying to hit the brakes with his left leg. Wow.
Game Ferrer.
So long, so Ferrer holds 5-2. I'm going to stay and have a look at Nadal in the sit-down.
New balls, please. Ferrer leads 5-2.
Todd, what's the gossip where you are at the moment? I mean, any improvement in Nadal, do you think?
I thought he was walking up to go and shake hands just then. I've got to say, I looked at Brad Gilbert and he sort of looked at me the same way. And I just think he's distracted. He's in two minds about trying to understand what to do. You know, is it bad enough? Do I keep going? Can I get through this match? He's playing a guy that he knows just is a warrior. We talked about that in the opening. And he's mentally just got to either accept what he's got and grind through this, or his only other option is to shake hands early. And I don't think that's what he wants to do, because there's too much history on the table at this tournament.
What treatment-wise, Todd, what's available to him for the rest of the match?
He can't retreat that injury. He can't go back out and have another injury time off. He can have some stretching in the allotted breaks in between the change of ends. But basically, Bruce, that's the only thing that he could do.
And that's what he was asked, wasn't he, by the trainer? Would you like to stretch in the last sit down? But he's on his own here and jogging back out. Jim, we just got it through. Confirmed hamstring-related injury. So I guess you just wonder, was there any inkling before he came out tonight? So Nadal at 2-5, new balls.
That's the side Ferrer should be picking on. If now we know the hamstring is the issue, and it's the left one, he can prevent any issue on his backhands by playing open stance, letting the right leg bear the brunt of the strain, Rafa can, but the forehand he can't cover up. He has to use that left leg.
What a champion he is, we know that.
What a champion indeed.
Oh.
15 all.
What Todd said at the start about Ferrer and having to play out of his own skin and play extremely aggressive has now been reversed.
Yep.
Rafa is going to be the one who has to take extreme chances. He did in this point, and Ferrer is so good at defending that it was still an extended rally.
It's a tightrope he walks, isn't it, right now?
Left for service.
If you're up in the stands right now, you can hear it. It's silent. They're stunned. They don't have the information that we have, so there's probably a lot of confusion.
You know, at the end of his career, there are so many highlights packages. They go for hours, but this single game would be a good one to play with the difficulties he's under and how he's been able to dig. Hold serve.
Nadal.
So it's a racket change for Rafa.
Yeah, people here, full house, and
Ferrer leads 5 games to
they
3.
wouldn't be clear on exactly the problem. They know there's drama. They know he's in difficulties. So Ferrer to serve for the set. Hasn't dropped a set. Nadal through the 2011 Australian Open. And hasn't lost a set to Ferrer since Barcelona 2008.
6 matches. Look out.
We're back to the first 2 games of the match on that rally, aren't we?
Yep.
Todd, it appears to us that he is moving pretty well and maybe working through it short term at least.
Yeah, but we just had the ball changed as well, and so these balls are going quicker through the air. His trajectory's a little bit high. Give it another 2 or 3 games and we'd be back where we were. And that's what I was talking about with the conditions. They're so thick, so heavy. The ball is in Rafa's favour about the first 3 games here.
Love 30.
Well, is Ferrer blinking here a bit?
Absolutely. Unforced error, love 30.
Left. First
And a serve and volley. I mean, that's in my opinion, that's an unforced error in that point for Ferrer. Gets away with it. It's a let, but bad strategy. Wow, it's a flat-out choke from Ferrer in this game. Don't use this word very often with Rafa, but he gagged that forehand. A sitting duck. That's a 10 out of 10er for him, and he somehow defied the odds.
Played such a magnificent forehand prior to that, and Dad agrees with you. So still 2 chances. So Jimmy may break, but he may not get a better chance than he had at love 40.
No doubt.
Missed it. Tightened right up. Sport has some strange twists and turns. We've just seen one.
Ferrer leads 5 games to 3.
Не смог реализовать свой великолепный шанс. Надаль по-прежнему под пристальным вниманием врачей. Но, судя по всему, не понадобилась какая-то конкретная помощь на этот раз. Так просто вышел терапевт и узнал, как дела.
Hello again. Thousands have headed for Sydney's beaches today to beat the soaring temperatures. Sydney had its hottest Australia Day in 20 years, with the city hitting 31 degrees. Police have made several arrests in Cronulla after warning they wouldn't tolerate drunken behaviour this Australia Day. Gold Logie star Lorraine Desmond has helped welcome some of our newest citizens. And the Socceroos have romped into the Asian Cup final. Sydney tomorrow, hot and 30 degrees.
So a short time ago.
As soon as that come off of here, right out the set break. After the set, come over, out.
So it sounds like they might re-wrap after the set, Jim.
That's right. He'll have a 2-minute break after the set. And this is his physio now, who probably went over and spoke to Clay, the tour trainer, to get the information, and now downloading that into the Rafa camp. So everyone is on board with what's really going on. But we're still in the set. No set break yet. Ferrer served for it and was broken. 4-5, Nadal.
Fifteen love.
Oh, good opening point. 185K serve, so he's not at full flight on that serve, but it's climbed back from the bottom.
Well, his average was 203 for that early game, and then 166, so it's halfway in between, but moving up.
Well, that's the shot where if he can't stop and plant, Bruce, if he can't put on the brakes, he has to go for a clean winner because he's so far out of position on that shot. Normally, he can loop it back in, hit the brakes, he's back in the point. Not that time.
So you know Ferrer's going to try and exploit that. It's just whether Nadal can prevent him from doing it.
Well, you would hope he would have been aware of that shot, Ferrer. He's a pretty cagey player. It takes 2 or 3 shots to get to it because he has to move Rafa into Rafa's backhand corner first and get Rafa to run hard to that side. Because if Rafa's already over there, he doesn't have to hit the brakes. The brakes are the problem right now from what I'm seeing. That left brake. Well, he got the brakes on there, but he didn't have a lot of push when he came back into the center of the court.
30.
Ferrer was tentative at the net there, and Nadal almost was able to get it back.
This is a good illustration here. So he breaks and he comes back, but there's no big power push there. It's a real slow ramp up instead of the big normal bolt of energy that Rafa brings.
It's like his mind had to tell his body to get back, didn't it?
Yeah. I'm sure his body was saying no mas. Perfect point by Ferrer, gets to set points. Normally you wouldn't really worry if Nadal lost the first set to Ferrer, but this is very, very far from normal. This really could be fatal.
It's going to be interesting to see how much he can get on this serve too and where he places it. He got plenty on it.
Biggest of the match, Bruce. 207K. Rafa is not going to go down without a fight. Hammers the serve, hammers the forehand, and then a great volley there. Clutch play from the number one. And that's arguably a match point. Arguably. Another big serve.
That was 192, but it was wide, so he's
Advantage, Nadal.
been able to find something here when he's absolutely needed it.
I think that's just him getting in touch with his fighting spirit, overriding the pain. .213. It's like the Olympics when they go for the extra burst for the weightlifting contest. Must be screaming inside. That's out. Well, credit to Ferrer.
Yes.
He's played some good tennis in this game. He's played some great tennis in this match already. Just the hiccup at 5-3 serving with the unforced error count going high there. Big moments for Ferrer as well.
Did it again, didn't he?
Just can't get there, Bruce.
Yeah.
He just can't get the push off to get back into position. And Ferrer is on top of it.
Advantage, Ferrer.
So it'll be a second set point, but he's really working that side of the court, and he's just opened him up and exploited it.
So it's jumped back up. Not quite to that 203 of the first service game for Nadal tonight. Boy, he needs something like that now, 203.
Oh, saves a set point exactly the same way. Good serve, good forehand, good volley. Good night. It was a breaking ball serve. It was an off-speed pitch, 174. Yep. But it paid the dividend, got the short ball.
Lovely hands at the net too under pressure.
Ferrer's coming out of his shoes, Bruce.
Advantage, Ferrer.
Unbelievable depth there on one of the forehands, didn't he?
And he's got a third set point.
Well,
Ferrer's getting the better of him when he gets to neutral in the rally, but Rafa, so far in these set points, hasn't allowed that to happen.
Oh, he's missed. The first set's gone to Ferrer. 70 minutes of sporting drama that you rarely see.
So let's see if Rafa elects to go off the court. He's taken another shirt with him. And he may not. He's just going to take a seat.
So as Rafa takes a seat, we'll take a break, and we'll be back for the second set after this.
Аккуратненько повесил маечку, посушиться Рафа. 67-63% попадания первым мячом. Двойных эйсов — это не из той оперы. Чистые выигрыши 15. Ошибок всего 14. Это у Давида Феррера. У Надаля отрицательный баланс -6. Ну и выходы к сетке. Выиграли 9 раз каждый из них. Феррер даже больше проиграл. Но к сетке он выходил поначалу очень робко, а потом стал забивать. И пусть эти смеши не были красивыми, тем не менее он набирал очки. Ну и главное, что на задней линии он, по большому счету, Надалю не уступил. А в агрессивности, в желании во что бы то ни стало захватить инициативу, пожалуй, Давид Феррер был и сильнее. Ну а Надаль вместе с возгласом «Тайм», который призывает начать вторую партию, отправился вновь под трибуны. Вновь на медицинский тайм-аут. Или нет? Просто за маечкой? А, вот оно что. Я прошу прощения. Сказали тайм, Надаль на месте. Но в этот момент шел повтор. Я как раз смотрел на экран. И вижу, Надаль уходит. Нет, нет, все уже. Никуда Надаль не уходит.
Rafa's won the first set in his Grand Slam matches on 112 occasions and lost the first set 29 times. So 112 and 29 make it 30 tonight. And the irony, Jim, he's only ever lost one match when he's lost the first set. He's won 111 and 1 when winning the first set. And you guessed it, that was when David Ferrer beat him at the US Open, coming from a set behind. So he's feeling good right now, Ferrer.
Please.
Oh, what a late
30
call.
love.
That ball had hit the wall when that call was made, but no contest from Rafa. There's your bird's eye confirmation.
Love. Weapons. 40-15.
Because, Jim, in about 10 minutes' time, they're going to get an 8-minute break here because the fireworks, a tradition of Australia Day in the vicinity, will go off and the players will be sitting down for about 8 minutes whilst that happens.
Game.
So that's a good hold. He needed to do that from Ferrer's point of view.
First game, second set.
So what about the drama of the opening set?
We certainly didn't see this coming. Rafa with the trainer going off of the court, getting taped up and coming back and looking very, very distraught. And Uncle Tony asking some questions, trying to get the information. Here, this was set point. Rafa was down, saved a couple set points, but then blew that forehand. And Ferrer is shocking the world right now.
And really halfway through that first set, the chances of coming into a second set seemed remote. We thought he was just about done. But it's a good sign.
I'll be curious to find out once the fireworks start. Rafa able to be treated by the trainer? Are they going off court? Are they staying on court? Traditionally, players have stayed on court and sat through it. So we'll learn some more as we go here. But it couldn't be better timing as far as if you're going to have the situation for Rafa than to do it on Australia Day.
Love 15.
He's fighting battles on two fronts. He's fighting this man who's hitting some nice winners and is one of the toughest outs on tour, the 7th best player on planet Earth.
Yes, it's not a bad ranking, is it?
No, and the hamstring's got a good ranking right now too.
Bloke who's 7 has been as high as 4 and has played big matches at Davis Cup and Grand Slams, been to a semi, so he won't be going away mentally. It's a great shot by Nadal.
Let for service.
Just a confirmation, Jim, that from the tournament referee that in that break with the fireworks, Rafa can leave the court for a 90-second treatment.
Okay, so treating it really no differently than any other changeover.
Yep. Got a touch lucky, but he holds. He needs a bit of luck, doesn't he, tonight? 1-1.
Now 2 great forehands from Dave and Julie Rafter. See new action in Pack to the Rafters, time after the tennis on 7.
Well, that's a great drama, and this is great sporting drama. No one knows how it's going to unfold, Jim. I mean, we're sitting here and have no real idea. I mean, Nadal's quality of play has been pretty good over the last 20 minutes.
That's not really his concern, I don't think. It's not really mine either. Rafa destroyed Marin Cilic in the prior round. His game is not in doubt. His level is not in doubt. It's his hamstring. Plain and simple. You know, this is a match that would be a very physical encounter, and it is a very physical encounter.
So you've been there and done it. I mean, your experience with something like this, do you think it's possible that he can work through this?
Depends on the degree of the strain. I mean, if it's a pull of any degree, which is what we would anticipate, they can slowly degrade. It could go quickly. There are it just doesn't ever get better if it's a pull.
Well, Ferrer's not helping the hamstring,
No.
but he's helping the scoreboard just at the minute.
He is. 3 break points.
Love 14.
You know, Bruce, in my experience with these things, this is the best that Rafa's going to feel probably for the next 48 hours right now, because once the adrenaline comes out, then things can start to get even more complicated.
Well, if it was on the ATP Tour and the stakes weren't so high, you think he would have been left by now, don't you?
Possibly.
Game Nadal.
So, breaks to love. Leads 2-1 in the second set.
И впервые в матче Надаль выходит вперед, потому что весь первый сет он догонял. А сейчас 2-1, его подача, он более-менее успокоился. Игра у него наладилась, со здоровьем трудно сказать на самом деле, но никаких видимых проявлений каких-то неприятностей мы давно уже не замечаем. Рафаэль Надаль 25 матчей подряд выиграл на турнирах Большого шлема. В современной истории это второй, можно сказать, результат. Впереди только достижение Роджера Федерера, который 2 года подряд с Уимблдона 2005 по полуфинал Ролан-Гаррос 2006, где он как раз Надалю проиграл. И через год то же самое с Уимблдона 2006 и по полуфиналу Ролан-Гарроса 2007. Он одержал 27 побед подряд на турнирах Большого шлема. Надаля 25. Сегодняшняя, если выиграет, будет 26-й, полуфинальная 27-й. Если выиграет турнир, будет 28, но 4 подряд. Турнира Большого шлема по 7 побед. И останется лишь один матч до абсолютного рекорда, который принадлежит Роду Лейверу.
So, big night for Spain, we know that. First time since '97 two Spaniards have played at a quarter-final here in Melbourne. The Matador at that stage was Moya, and he played Mantilla. Made his big breakthrough here, Moya, didn't he, to make a final against Sampras before he went to the French the year after to win his Grand Slam. Great hero of Rafa knows him oh so well.
Players are ready.
Has a break. Has a tight hamstring, but leads 2-1 in the second.
Love 15.
Well, he's played some sloppy games at times, Ferrer, but you're never going to question his effort level. You're never going to question his intensity. Right back into it here. Nice half volley drop shot winner there.
Love 13.
Just a little trend, Jim. Ferrer having a fair bit of trouble holding serve late in that first set and here in the second, but being able to get into the Nadal serve.
And it's happened on the side that Rafa is serving from. That's the side they're struggling to hold on. Yep. And Rafa punches his racket there in frustration. 3 break points.
14.
with this loss of power that we're seeing from Rafa. Ferrer is the one who's really able, when in neutral, to control play. Todd talked about the conditions. It's heavy out there. The ball's not bouncing up. There's another factor now, of course, with the hamstring.
There'll be very few matches over the scene with Nadal with the balls in neutral that he hasn't been in control. So a different mindset for the champ tonight. He has to find another way home with the hamstring as well. Worked him over again. Back on serve.
Coming up, two Aussies battling it out for a spot in the mixed doubles semi-finals. Next up, Carsten Ball and Sally Pearce take to Rod Laver Arena, with two doubles greats calling the action, Todd Woodridge and Renee Stubbs.
Todd, you've had a little look at this for the last half hour. What are your observations?
Oh, well, I left courtside to go sort of underneath in the bows, and there was more medical staff running around than in Grey's Anatomy trying to make sure Rafa stays out on this court.
15 love.
But by all accounts, you guys are onto the hamstring strain, but by all accounts, he's willing to stay out there. So that's the good news for all of us that are watching. He's not going to pull the pin just yet. That's what we've been told.
30 love.
Did he get close, Todd? Do you know?
Well, I think he was apologising to a couple of people about, you know, maybe at one stage he thought that he might not go back out there, but he's decided to give it a go. And the way the scoreline's going, he's still got a chance. So as long as he feels he's got a chance to stay in the match.
He did a Nadal to the Nadal.
What a ridiculous shot. Spectacular play from Ferrer.
40 love.
Up early on this shot. Rafa's following it in. He's not even thinking he's going to get to that. Rafa was casually moving forward. What a brilliant pass. I haven't seen a better pass than that all week.
Todd, catch your breath after the Ferrer. Any indication of how serious it is? And
yeah, look, I think it's something that's not going to get fixed quickly. It's something that's going to linger on. So he's going to make decisions in this match, but then when he gets off and trying to recoup if he should get through it, because it's an injury that isn't going to get better in a hurry, because it's a strain, and a strain can become a tear.
So Ferrer at 3-2. Now, fireworks are about to start. Let's see if Nadal goes off the court immediately, or if he sits down, he has the opportunity to leave.
So Clay there is telling him he needs him to keep moving, needs him to walk around, doesn't want him to get cold. So he's going to change his shirt. Doesn't appear that Rafa wants to be treated again. Clay is letting him know that if you need me, Rafa, I'm right around the corner. But giving him advice there, Bruce, to keep moving, keep the blood flowing, don't get cold.
Which makes total sense, obviously. So Rafa looks to the sky and sees exactly what we are and knows that he's got to wait now for about 8 minutes. He still hasn't left the court and probably won't. Now he is about to leave the court. So off he goes into the little room by the look of it. So it's a night where it's hard to remember the score, but it is 6-4, 3-2 on serve in the second set.
Так вот, Мельбурн находится в уголке такого ромбовидного залива, огромного залива, не на океане. И там очень интересный климат в результате. Потому что океанские потоки, то, что в этом самом заливе происходит с атмосферой, все это вместе необычные зрелища закатов, восходов, вообще небо в Мельбурне. Да и погода здесь немножко странноватая, непредсказуемая из-за этого. Ну, вот так выглядит Сити, за которым только что зашло солнце. Даже сейчас еще, я думаю, видите, так внизу оранжевые эти остатки солнечного заката. Там минут за 10 до этого, наверное, было еще ярче. Феррер пошел тоже на перерыв навстречу Надалю, так что мы с вами можем насладиться салютом. Я напомню, что бывали матчи, когда теннисисты, даже несмотря на сложную интересную борьбу, все равно давали возможность публике полюбоваться именно салютом Дня Австралии. Присаживались на стульчики, судьи не мешали. Ну а сейчас сам Бог велел, поскольку у Надаля с первого сета уже начиная проблема, он вызывает врачей. Ну и Феррер не прочь немножко отдохнуть. Вот с той самой башни, над которой сейчас были всполохи, и которая самая высокая, выше всех в Мельбурне.
That's all coming up here on 7. Well, Jim, not only does Nadal have to battle a fierce opponent in Ferrer, but the body's hurting, the hamstring problems, but got to process so many decisions right now. I mean, this match is outside the square for him in more ways than one, isn't it? I mean, here he comes back. He's had the treatment. He's got the break now. He's got to keep moving. He's got to look at the big picture. Could he go on to a semi-final after this? It's a position that's just so difficult to get your head around for him, isn't it?
Yeah, you can just sense the frustration, which is well-deserved for him. I mean, he's so close to something that's so meaningful to all of us in this sport. No one more than him, for sure. Now to be somewhat stymied and handicapped, it's a real shame. But look, he's the best competitor in our sport. He will stay out there as long as he feels like it's safe for him to do so. He's not going to do anything that's going to jeopardize the rest of his year, but if it's possible for him to stay out here and grind through, he will.
He may win the battle tonight, but the war's the problem, isn't it? Which is the Grand Slam.
Yeah.
That's one of the big issues. One of many for Rafa at the moment. Todd, we're watching him. You're looking across the court at him at the moment. He's going to have to wait another 4 or 5 minutes, and he's doing his best to keep warm.
Yeah, look, I think he's just asking the umpire how much longer. He's jogging up and down and swinging the arms and legs. And, you know, this is not such a bad thing for him in terms of for David Ferrer. David Ferrer's got to go through this and keep his concentration. That's quite difficult. He knows he's got a man that's not 100% fit. He knows he's got Rafa on the ropes in the scoreline. So he's got a lot to keep his mind together. So I don't think that this is so bad for Rafa. Other than that, he needs to try to keep himself warm.
If we take the emotion out for the moment and the big picture, how does Rafa win this match now? You've talked about how difficult it is for him to get to that forehand side and then accelerate back to the backhand. What can he do to win this match now tactically, do you think?
Well, look, his backhand is the flatter wing, right? So on the backhand side, he's had some success flattening it out, going cross-court into the Ferrer forehand, and that opens up his forehand. If I'm Rafa and I'm trying to protect myself from having to play defense to my forehand, I need to go into Ferrer's forehand a little bit more frequently and hope to do damage with 2 or 3 shot rallies, maybe 4 shot rallies. But we've seen how hard that is because Ferrer is known as the wall. He's so good at playing defense, and he can force you to hit that extra shot, and that's what we're seeing time and time again here.
So we're looking at the story of the first set. One thing, Todd, that we don't know, and I'm not sure with your discussions downstairs whether you do, but is this something that happened on the court tonight, or was there any sense of a niggle coming into this match?
Not that I know of. Jim and I were in the locker room at the same time, and he mentioned that everything looked normal. I actually was getting ice out of the ice bucket when Rafa was going through his routine of popping a few electrolyte tablets that he takes and various things like that. It all looked 100% like every other match that he's played this tournament. So that one game, it was the second game of the match that went for so long, that's where I think that he really did do something. So it wasn't something that, as far as we know, and we've got some pretty good context down there, Bruce, that he brought out into this match.
Yes, if you just joined us, the second game went for 17 minutes and 41 seconds or something like that. And the first 2 games, it was 23 minutes in, wasn't it? It was just, we thought we were going to be here for 5 hours like Verdasco. Who knows, we might be, because he's amazed more than once in his career. There's no question about that. And he's jogging on the spot, as is Ferrer, just waiting for the other fireworks to die down, because we've had so many of them out here tonight. Todd, whatever happens over the next 2 or 3 sets, it is tennis history that we're looking at here. I mean, the chance of making it, and that whole story's been turned upside down on its head, hasn't it?
Well, it is. While you've been talking there, Bruce, I'm watching him, and he's talking to his players box, and he's intimating. Obviously, I don't speak Spanish, but he's intimating that it's very hard for him to go wide laterally as hard as he normally does, as physically as he normally does. So, and then he keeps giving that little flat signal as if maybe I should stop. I don't think that's what he's saying, but yes, it's quite interesting just watching him there. He's determined, though, to play, Bruce, because this is history that he's going for. These 4 in a row in a modern era is so hard to do. You've talked about it. He doesn't want to give it up.
So we should put that into perspective. I mean, he won Wimbledon, or he won the French Wimbledon US last year. Rod Laver's and Don Budge are the only 2 men to have won a calendar Grand Slam. Laver in 62 and 69, the great Australian. So he's hoping to become the first man since Laver to hold the 4 at the one time. And he had a great chance coming in, and who knows what the next few days will hold for all of us. But right now his back is firmly pressed against the wall. But he's been there before, but not with a hamstring strain. If anyone can find a way. And he did say, I know he's been playing it down, Jim, it's been the elephant in the room, but he did say prior to the Australian Open that this could be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for him.
That's right.
May never get into this position again.
Well, in recent years, Federer's been the only one who's had a sniff, and he's had it twice. But both times it was going into the French Open, and he'd never won that event before. And this man was waiting in the finals for him both times. He's got one of those tags. That's a new shirt, so he had to pull the tag off of it. Sometimes you get the little plastic thing that stays in the shirt that can irritate. So he gets rid of that. Just another irritant for him tonight. He's got one across the net. He's got one.
I think that's the least of his worries.
Yeah,
right
well,
now.
he can remove that one. The other two he's stuck with. That's just pain. Well, that's the strategy for this man right there. That will get him into the semifinals if he's able to control traffic at the baseline and make that play time and time again. Bruce, he'll be unbeatable tonight.
And he knows all about it. We know that, and he's done it so successfully over the last 15 or 20 minutes. That's his go-to play. See, that's why I like Nadal going out to Ferrer's forehand, because I don't believe Ferrer can hit that shot consistently down the line. He naturally wants to pull that one cross court. Ferrer likes to hit his forehand from the inside out position over in the backhand corner. So tactically, that's a better play for Rafa. Well, he hit that one. He was sitting without moving. So, Jimmy, you saying that Ferrer's got to play against his natural instincts in a way by playing that forehand down the line?
Well, what I'm talking about is making him move from this position. If Ferrer is moving sideways, he doesn't really have that down the line shot. Not consistently, I don't believe. Maybe he'll prove us wrong. But if he's standing on the pivot there, he's 7 in the world. He's got that shot. Well, real trouble here for Rafa.
Advantage Ferrer.
And you wonder too, Jim, whether the scoreboard will have any part in Nadal's decision processes tonight.
Well, we saw him buck up at this point at the end of the second set with big serves and big power. Tried to shorten the points.
Use.
That's a gift. That was only 171K, and it was pretty much right into Ferrer's pocket. I mean, that's a sweet swing normally, that backhand. A little bit of the pressure showing for the man in black.
Advantage Ferrer.
He just knows the takeoff is not quite tonight what it would be normally. Can exploit it. So, big point again. No.
Game Ferrer. New ball, please.
Todd?
Ferrer leads 4 games to 2.
Look, he's just not getting any power on the ball. And then when he tries to penetrate it to flatten the ball out, the ball's just falling off the racket so quickly, and that's when we're seeing so many in the net, which we're not used to seeing. And right now he's going over to his racket bag, and I think what he's probably trying to do is get something looser to try to get some more power to generate, because he's just getting nothing out of the equipment that like we're used to seeing. And again, it's the conditions. The balls are just so heavy.
So, Jim, talk us through that with the racket and the tension on a night like tonight with the problems he's got.
Well, first of all, he's just asked for the stringer to send some rackets away. Too good.
That's a 20-minute process, isn't it?
20 minutes to get the racket back from that stringer, and Todd was talking about it. Looser is better. If you're lacking power. Go ahead, Todd.
Particularly tonight, particularly when you're a some player, that you hold the ball in the racket for a bit longer, you can throw it over. It almost trampolines out to get the trajectory and height over it that's necessary.
So with all the
Nadal is on the call on the left.
with all the breaks we've had,
the ball was called in.
Didn't send the racket earlier.
Well, he's had a few things to think about, hasn't he? Wow, that's just caught. It's the way it's going for Rafa at the moment.
Millimeter in.
30 love. Nadal has 2 challenges remaining.
That's ripcord tennis from Rafa there, just conceding that point.
So a love game on service for Ferrer. He's a game away from leading 2 sets to love.
На предыдущем турнире «Большого шлема» Феррер провел потрясающий поединок с Фернандо Вердаско, еще одним испанцем, который тоже очень громко заявлял о себе в последние годы и продолжает заявлять. Он игрок мировой десятки. И он тоже был здесь, в Австралии, героем. У него здесь был полуфинал. Ну, у Феррера лучшие результаты были как раз на US Open, но и Вердаско, и Феррер на хардкортах научились играть, и их место в десятке в последние годы, может быть, в числе 15 сильнейших, не подвергается никакому сомнению. Они там по праву. Матч был равным, но в результате все-таки Феррер на этом и остановился. Ну, а если в целом говорить о 2010 году, о его сезоне на турнирах «Большого шлема», то австралийский чемпионат завершился для Феррера во втором раунде, напомню. Мы уже об этом с вами вспоминали. На Ролан-Гаррос в третьем круге, на Уимблдоне в четвертом. Ну и вот тоже в четвертом раунде проиграл тот самый.
Here's Nadal after conceding the break in this set.
Players are ready.
Taking it out on his fist, taking it out on his strings, taking it out on himself. He's down 5-2 in the set.
Love 15.
So, Jim, the body's breaking down, the equipment's not quite right, and the mind is being tested like it's been really tested before. And when you talk about Nadal, that is saying something, because he's worked his way through some amazing situations in sport. The temperature's been about as hot as it could possibly get in his kitchen at times.
And if there is a silver lining in this, Bruce, it's that it appears to be something that's relatively manageable and fixable in the short term, maybe not in this tournament.
Love 13.
Certainly not tonight, but he's faced a bigger demon with the knee over the years that's really put a scare in him. Such a fright that he walked off this court last year against Murray.
And if he loses this set right now, then another decision time.
Could be a handshake. Then that has to weigh heavily in Ferrer's mind. He has to be thinking the same thing you're thinking. This could be the fatal punch right here. I could knock it down, shake hands, and get to another semi.
Well, we're closing in on that moment.
15-14.
It was $126 to win the tournament before this match, Ferrer. Nadal and Federer in the $2 range, about $2.50, $2.90. And Murray and Djokovic at $5. Ferrer, $126 in a 5-horse field. He's got it. So Nadal walks toward, but it looks like he's walking to his chair. Ferrer leads by 2 sets to love. 6-4, 6-2.
Не верит в происходящее. Но вообще верить в победу над Надалем можно в один прекрасный момент, когда звучит возглас арбитра. Гейм, сет и матч. И потом ваша фамилия. Да, это, конечно, событие. Ошибок чуть больше у Феррера в этом сете. Но 15 чистых выигрышей против 4. И 5 подач на вылет уже. И вообще все лучше. И 6-2. Это при том, что Рафа сделал брейк, повел 2-1, после чего Феррер выиграл 5 геймов подряд. Ну, вообще, конечно, ну, вот так и просится на язык. Ну, не настоящий это Надаль. Мы видели, что он вызывает врача, что у него проблемы. А какой тогда Надаль настоящий? Это и есть его игра, в которой он выходит на высокий, запредельный какой-то уровень атлетизма. И бывает, что сам себя этот уровень и пожирает. И, наверное, это и есть слепок со всей его карьеры. Он так играет, он играет на пределе. И, может быть, организм не выдерживает. Что случилось сегодня, мы, наверное, узнаем после матча. Ну, во-первых, рано еще говорить о поражении, потому что 2 проигранных сета, это, да, это для Надаля тяжелейшее испытание, но трижды в своей карьере Рафа выигрывал матчи, которые начинались со счета 0-2. Трижды. И сегодня для победы ему нужен 4-й такой подвиг. 3-я партия. Давид Феррер на подаче.
So we go on. Nadal sat down, had his head in his hands for a while, shake of the head, deep in thought, but out he goes.
15 love.
Todd, there was a moment there we were looking at him and not sure whether he would have come out again.
No, I guess the question you got to ask is, we know he's good enough to beat David Ferrer at 100%. Is he good enough to beat him at maybe 80, 75%? If he clears his head, there's a possibility of that. At the moment, though, Bruce, it looks like so much going on. Should I play, shouldn't I? How am I going to do tactically, my equipment, everything? And there's these unforced errors that you don't normally see, like that one there. So for me, he's got to get everything out of there and play with what he's got and see what happens.
Love. Game Ferrer.
So Ferrer holds to love and looks down at Nadal. Still looks towards him. Well, this was the third set. We know he can come from 2 sets to love down, Rafa, but that's without the hamstring.
Yeah, he just... The break early in this set really lifted Ferrer. Ferrer really didn't get a chance to get too tight at the end of the set, did he?
No.
Rafa has been unable to hold serve successfully. He's been broken 6 times out of 9 service games. And he's normally one of the best at holding serve on tour.
His standard drop, Nadal. I know he's got all the problems in the world, but he actually played some pretty good tennis for half an hour.
Yeah, well, Uncle Tony's just clapping right now. His box is trying to give him some energy and just encourage him to push through the tape here no matter what happens.
Love 15.
So under normal circumstances, you'd still give him a good chance. He's got an amazing 5-set record. He's won 12 of the last 13 he's played, 14 out of 17. He's come from 2 sets to love down on 3 occasions. But there's no normality about this situation.
No.
$15 all.
Well, you would have never believed
15-30.
that Ferrer would be able to hit 34 winners against Rafa. Rafa's only hit 13. You just would never have been able to believe that he'd be able to be this offensive in a bubble until you have that vital information of the hamstring issue. Because, Bruce, normally to play that high in the count against
50-40.
Rafa, you have to play really low percentage tennis and just blast and blast and blast. And you'd have a lot more unforced errors. But he's been able to be aggressive with margin, Ferrer. And now he has 2 break point chances.
Ferrer is
Can we get a challenge here?
on the right center service line. The ball was called in.
He needs all these to go his way tonight, and he's got it. So 1 save with the ace.
30-40. Ferrer has 2 challenges remaining.
Second ace tonight. 189 on the ANZ service speed, but still 1 break point. Yeah, the unforced errors are about 11 below the winners for Ferrer at the moment. They'll be a key if this match goes on to keep them down. And Nadal's got to try and get through the quagmire somehow. It is a maze for him, but he's still alive.
Advantage, Ferrer.
And for Rafa, it's the other way, isn't it? The unforced far greater than the winners.
Rafa is the best big point player on tour, and he's almost conceding 50% of the break point chances to Ferrer tonight.
It's been mainly long when Ferrer's been pushed, hasn't he? He's pushed them long.
Advantage, Nadal.
Beauty. That's the runner. That's the shot that I doubted, and he's proved me wrong on a few occasions. Ferrer covers this one nicely, kind of glides over to it, and that's a comfortable winner. That's not a high-risk shot, Bruce.
He had a lot of open space.
Yeah.
He did very well to dig out the previous point, didn't he?
Sure did.
So a heavier ball on average tonight.
Advantage, Ferrer.
It's a long game, but nowhere near the almost 18 minutes of the second game of the match.
Yeah, and Ferrer's just making him play on every point here on serve. Rafa's only 15% of the time when he serves, he gets a free point. That's just Excellent returning from Ferrer. And a weakened service speed from Rafa.
Well, he must be at breaking point, you'd think now.
Well, he's at the exit, isn't he? 2 sets and a break.
2 games to love.
He's bending down right now. I don't suspect that he'll stop at this point. I think he'll see this match through. But one thing that we've marveled at over the last decade really is Federer's durability and how even with mono he's been able to play through and play well in majors. And the one thing that I think we have concerns about with Rafa is the style of play that he brings to the table. How durable can he be?
Well, he's Mr. Wimbledon when he was defending champion. He had the problems with Murray here last year. So he's had dips and troughs. He's had so many highs as well. But tonight, as you said, not as serious as the knee, but still just a massive blow, isn't it?
Oh, shocking time for it.
30 love.
It's one of those things that, as he said coming in, he doesn't know if he'll ever get a chance to go for 4 majors in a row again in his career. He might. He's certainly capable, but he may not as well.
40 love.
And to have the chance like this diminished greatly physically is something that's tough to swallow.
It's a crying shame, really, that he hasn't been able to give it his best shot.
Wait, please.
He's tried.
Ferrer.
Well, it's a slow walk now.
3 games to love.
As he slowly gets to the chair, and it's love 3. 3 love Ferrer in the 3rd set.
Богаче Арсенал. Он больший чемпион. Его запас и физический, и психический, конечно, несравнимо богаче, чем запас Давида Феррера. Но сегодня все это нужно разделить на 2, на 3, может быть, на 10, не знаю. Такого Надаля не приходилось видеть очень давно. И смотрите, такое ощущение, что Давид Феррер начал немножко своего соперника жалеть. Он недоумевает. В конце концов, это не чужой человек, это великий испанский теннисист. А в Испании, конечно, все очень трепетно относятся друг к другу. Надаль чуть не плачет. Он не может играть сейчас свой теннис. Начинается год точно так же, как и предыдущий. Потом, в прошлом году, если сейчас Надалю сказать, согласен ты будешь, как в прошлом году, здесь сняться, не доиграть, в общем, потерпеть поражение, а потом выиграть 3 турнира Большого шлема. Я думаю, он отказался бы. Потому что для настоящего спортсмена, великого бойца и чемпиона, самая главная победа – это та победа, за которую ты вышел биться прямо сейчас. А все остальные, будущие и прошлые, это все...
Close to tears, lip quivers, thoughts flow through the brain, clears the eyes. A dream becomes a nightmare. Jim, do you think it's out of some respect to Ferrer that he's playing it out or not?
Absolutely, and I think if there's any consolation in this at all for Rafa, which will be, it'll take him a while to find it, it's that the beneficiary of this is his countryman and friend. And Ferrer has genuine concern for Rafa. These guys are Davis Cup partners.
Yep.
Practice partners. This will be bittersweet for him as well. It's been a long time since he's beaten Rafa, since 2007. And this is not the way he would want it, no doubt. But Bruce, this is sport. You can only control your side of the net.
Jim, I heard what you just said, but are you telling me that when you were trying to win tournaments, you had grave concern for your opponent up the other end?
Well, let's be clear. David Ferrer is not trying to win this tournament. He wouldn't dream that he would possibly win this tournament. He's happy to be here in this match.
Yeah, and I think we've got to focus on him a little bit here because he's not scared of winning this match, and I think that's an important thing to note. He's playing great tennis. He's not giving anything up, and he hasn't been distracted by all that's been going on.
Led for service.
So long, so Nadal here, the chance to get to 1-3. No, I don't think any of us are taking anything away from Ferrer. He's has played extremely well. He's had to process a lot of things in his brain tonight as well. But he's playing against a wounded beast tonight. Well, he's climbed a little hill, hasn't he? He's got a game.
Ferrer leads 3-1.
No, the challenge for a player like Ferrer is to keep his concentration in a moment like this where he is keeping eyes on Rafa. Every time he goes to sit down, he watches Rafa very closely to make sure Rafa's not going to stop playing. And he's got one eye on his job and one eye on the other side of the net.
Love 15. Led for service.
A little looseness there from Ferrer.
Love 30.
Well, we saw it at the end of the first set, didn't we, when he was serving for it. He played the one really loose game. It looked as if he'd choked, basically.
And the beauty of it for Ferrer is his normal game is a low-risk game. So if he feels nervous, he can pull back a little bit. Rafa's just not fast enough right now to inflict the typical damage that he would bring to this match.
Sees the initiative, pulled the trigger, gets 2 break points.
15-14.
Jim, one of the reasons that Rafa, in my view, was able to win Wimbledon was his ability to learn to come and step up into the backhand on the court and take it early and flatten it out. And I think if he's going to get back in, he's going to have to take those risks like he's done in this game, get into the net and step up.
30-40.
And I don't have the stats in front of me, guys, but I'm interested to know what Rafa's like when he's been to the net and what he's won, if he's in a winning record or not, because I think that's going to be only way he's going to have a chance.
Yeah, Todd, he's 15 of 19, so a great success rate. Ferrer, 18 of 22. Both of them been highly successful tonight.
As they have throughout the tournament. They were both over 80% coming into tonight. They were 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's just too good from Ferrer there, extending Rafa into that painful corner, the forehand side.
Deuce.
And look, there's really, there are two possibilities, and they're long shots for Rafa to get back in this. One of them is to do what you're talking about, Todd, and that's to take extra aggression and shorten the play. And the other is to hang around and hope that Ferrer can't get it across the line mentally.
Let's first service.
But if he's going to do that, Nadal has to be able to break in games like this where he's given some opportunities by Ferrer.
Advantage Ferrer.
And he had 2 break points here earlier. It's a sign of resignation, isn't it? So he holds, and again that's a slow long walk now. 4 games to 1 Ferrer in the third.
Не сумев выиграть важных мячей в этом гейме, Надаль вновь выпускает соперника далеко вперед. В прошлом году на всех турнирах Большого шлема, вот включая тот самый матч с Энди Марри, у Надаля подобных проблем не было. Тогда было понятно, что он играет, во-первых, с равным себе. Во-вторых, все знали о его травме, о том, что она может рано или поздно о себе напомнить. И когда Надаль снялся в третьей партии, это было воспринято как нечто само собой разумеющееся. Да, его надломил Энди Марри, но все вроде к этому и шло. На этом турнире ничто не предвещало проблем Рафаэля Надаля, причем таких серьезных проблем. Да, в Дохе мы вспоминали об этом с вами. Надаль немножко захворал, и у него недомогание не проходило до начала этого турнира, до, наверное, середины первой недели. Однако последний матч с Чиличем вроде бы показал, что Рафа в оптимальном состоянии. И вот сейчас...
So following the quarterfinal, it's the Aussie mixed doubles. So if you have just joined us in the second game of this match, Nadal, he gets his leg belt there. Nadal tweaked his hamstring. He's been in serious difficulties from that second game in this match, fighting the demons and the hamstring problems. More than once have we expected him not to continue. He's rallied a few times on the court. But here, you can see by that scoreline how close he is to defeat.
And that just drifts long, but that is
15-0.
extra attacking play from Nadal in an effort to shorten the points up here. Just the physical capabilities for defense are severely diminished. But the chances for Murray, Djokovic, and Federer are increased.
30-15.
I don't think any of the trio would have their head on the pillow right now having a sleep, do you? They'd be on high alert.
As a matter of fact, you can say hello to them if you like, because they'll be watching right here on Channel 7.
Led for service.
So Jimmy's biggest weapon's been taken away, that ability physically to fight for every point, to cover the ground, to win the big points that matter most. His body won't allow him to do it tonight.
He can't turn defense into offense tonight. And he's the best at it. His serve has been diminished, unable to really explode up into it as he normally would. About the only thing that's not diminished is his heart.
Yeah. But even that smash, Jim, that leap we often see in belting the ball into the court.
40-30.
You can see why they call Ferrer the wall, though, can't you?
Nadal.
Well, against all the odds, he gets another game in the third set. It's 4-2. And tomorrow night, it's Djokovic and Federer. It's got a lovely sound to it, hasn't it? Two of the great players in the world. Djokovic going for a second Australian Open. Federer hoping to become the first man to win 5. Jim, you'll be joined by Patrick Rafter here in the commentary booth. Looking forward to that, the two Davis Cup captains. But Ferrer here, 2 games away, potentially, to a place in the semi-final.
What a start to the year for Rafa. Came into the first tournament of the year in Doha, in Qatar, contracted a virus, lost in the semifinals of that tournament, stayed an extra day to try and get healthy before he traveled down here. Fought through the virus here earlier in the tournament, was complaining about his body overheating and feeling a diminished power as a result. But no one saw the injury coming here.
Jim, I've got no medical expertise, but you wonder if the slightly weakened body's had anything to do with what's happened here tonight. Yeah. Don't know.
Yeah, it's above my pay grade.
How can he make him nervous at this stage? Is he capable of making Ferrer nervous? You wouldn't think so, would you?
By making balls, making Ferrer play, giving him a chance to implode. But he has to weigh the options of, do I keep running? Do I keep risking more of a tear? If I have a pull now, do I get a tear? It's a tough negotiation. There's a double.
Ferrer returns on the call on the left service line. The ball was called out.
If it is out, it's his second for the match. It is. It's a break point.
30-40.
Well, great comeback from Ferrer there. Delivers.
Ferrer has one challenge remaining.
188K out wide. Service winner.
Advantage, Ferrer.
So a point for Ferrer to take a 5-2 lead and have a sit down and a think about a chance to make his second major semifinal.
Game, Ferrer.
Well, he's at that point now, Jim.
Сделал обратный брейк, взял подачу Феррера, не смог удержать свою при счете 4-5. А вот во второй партии при счете 5-2 сразу проиграл еще одну свою подачу и сет. Да, загудели, зашушукали фоторепортеры. Вообще, конечно, до сенсации очень-очень недалеко. Но не хочется верить в то, что Надаль вот так покинет турнир. И главное, совершенно непонятно, что же случилось с ним. Я был бы не против истинной интриги, может быть, даже победы Давида Феррера над настоящим Надалем.
So we've reached a moment that I don't think any of us coming here tonight thought we would. Sure, it wasn't impossible Ferrer could win tonight. He's a number 7 in the world. He's been a semi-finalist, but he is 2 sets to love and 5-2 against a hamstrung Rafa Nadal in one of sport's most romantic stories. Really hasn't had an opportunity to get off the ground here tonight. It is with mixed feelings that we sit here watching, and I'm sure it is for so many people. It is difficult to get a perspective on this match. Ferrer has been terrific. He's a great warrior in his own right, but the ultimate warrior tonight has not been able to do his best.
Love 15. All. Oh. 30-15.
Nadal a chance to hold here and shift the pressure to the other side of the net.
40-30. Game Nadal.
So he holds and asks one last question.
Ferrer, 5 games for 2.
And only 2 men have won more Grand Slam matches in a row than Rafa. Rafa's on 25 at the moment, the same as Pete Sampras at his very best, and Jimmy Connors, 2 of the greatest of all players. But only Rod Laver, 29 consecutive wins, matches in Grand Slam, and Roger Federer, 27 twice, have had a longer winning streak ever in Grand Slam singles matches than Rafa. And the streak we feel now is about to end.
Well, it's such a remarkable achievement what Rafa's been able to do.
15 love.
We've seen the greatness of Federer and have been so blessed to see his greatness come so quickly into the picture as well. We've talked about it since the injury treatment, that it's such a shame not to be able to see him have a fair swing with the world's best waiting in the wings in the semifinals. The world's number 7 is here, but other players in the semis as well. Insult to injury. He's just been robbed of a real great chance tonight.
There is a feeling of loss, isn't there?
Thank you.
So a Spaniard goes